Hello everyone, this is Stacy with Quantum Artistic. Welcome to tonight's video. I am going to do a quick demo on how to use the Quilled Creations Deluxe Crimper tonight. I know there's a lot of different crimping tools available on the market. I really like Quilled Creations because it's nice and small, it's compact, it was very inexpensive, and I don't do a whole lot of crimping, so just be able to have something that has two separate crimp sizes. I only actually use one of them, mind you. Just makes more sense to me. There are crimpers that you can buy that do like 4, 5, or 6 different types of crimp patterns and tightnesses. And I think they're awesome if you do a lot of crimping or if you want some mega machine, but I don't feel as though it's necessary for me personally. So I just have this on hand because it's easy. I can stash it. It's plastic, so if something happens to it, it's easy to replace. And I just, I like Quilled Creations products really well. So let's go ahead and start. I don't want to keep you too long. So the basic how this works is that it's got little grips here on the side. It's got these little cogs. Oh, can I come up here? Whoops. It's got these little cogs that create the crimp. They're like little gears. And then it's got a wheel on top that you spin. That's also got grips. It's a pretty simple machine. The front crimp is the larger crimp. The back one is the smaller one. And each of these purple things serves as like a plate to butt your paper against. So, to crimp, it's really simple. You need to be an octopus and have 8 arms, or at least 3. This is probably the biggest pain in the butt about the crimping tool that I can see, because when you get your paper up in this area, there's really nothing to hold it unless you reposition your hand that's holding the actual crimper and kind of reach down and grab it and then grab it and start to turn. And I just feel as though when you're trying to really do it quickly, it's awkward, and it increases the chance that your paper is going to go through the crimper diagonally, which will not result in the best crimp. So that's my only complaint, is the amount of fingers and hands needed to do it comfortably. Other than that, it's pretty easy to use. You can put a couple different pieces of paper through each of them as long as it's standard weight. And you actually can crimp cardstock weight too. I would just recommend only putting one piece through at a time so you don't bind it or break it or push these cogs apart. It's plastic, so it's not the most sturdy material. So as you can see, the interior one does the smaller crimp. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up here, let the camera refocus. You can see it's got a nice steady crimp pattern. There's no flaws or anything. Looks pretty good, pretty quick and easy. I'm going to go ahead and do a demo of the exterior one. So what you do is you stick it here and you kind of rest it up against that plate. And again, you kind of use your fingers in uncomfortable ways, and then you start to turn it. It grabs the paper and spits it out the other side with a nice crimp in it. And this right here is the wide crimp. You really can't tell it from the other one visually at first until you have them both here to compare to. And then even the difference is pretty subtle. Okay, there's the difference. So that's basically how you use the crimping tool. You want to make sure that your paper is going in straight. You want to make sure it is butted up against either of these purple plates. And you want to make sure that there's nothing binding it on the end that it exits so that it doesn't get wrapped back around itself. And that has happened to me before. It's come out and then somehow I made it back in, and then I was like, oh no, I gotta play with it here to get it apart. And that's pretty much how you use the Quilled Creations crimping tool. I recommend it, and I will also try to find the link for these really fancy schmancy ones that I've seen people come up with that do like 4 or 5 different crimp styles, and they're metal, and I'm pretty sure people are getting them from overseas. And there may have been another US retailer, but I can't think of what her name was right now. But I will try to find this, and I'll add it to the blog post that I do that this video is attached to. So for now, please head on over to my website, www.quantumartistic.com, or follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/quantumartistic. And stay tuned for more videos as I start producing them regularly this summer. Thanks, and I'll talk to you soon.